this lesson, you'll learn how to play Dust in the Wind using a Travis picking pattern, as well as the beautiful fingerstyle riffs. You can follow this lesson with high or low G tuning. Now I'll be using my tenor with low G tuning throughout the lesson, but I'll demonstrate how the Travis picking pattern sounds with high G tuning as well. And once we get to the beautiful fingerstyle sections, we're only going to use strings 1, 2, and 3. So it won't matter there if you have high or low G tuning, because we won't be using our 4th string. I like to look at this song as a 5-chord song because we only need 5 chords to play the verses and the chorus. However, you will learn a few more chords if you want to learn the fingerstyle sections as well. So let's begin by looking at our Travis picking pattern. This pattern covers 4 beats, and here's how it sounds on a C chord at a slow tempo. The rhythm of this pattern is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We begin by picking strings 4 and 1 together with our thumb and middle finger. Then we'll pick string 3 with our thumb, string 2 with our index finger, back to string 4 with our thumb, then down to the 1st string with our middle finger, and we end this pattern on the 3rd string with our thumb. Now this fingering that I'm using on my picking hand is my favorite way to play this pattern. I find it most comfortable to alternate between strings 4 and 3 with my thumb. I want to give you 2 other options for your picking hand that you can try out to see what you prefer. Travis picking is named after Merle Travis, and he used to use his thumb and index finger. So to do this, we'll use our thumb on strings 4 and 3 and our index finger on strings 1 and 2. So here's how the full pattern would look. Now I know some of you prefer to use all 4 fingers on finger picking patterns. So to do this, we'll use our thumb on the 4th string, index finger on the 3rd string, middle finger on the 2nd string, and ring finger on the 1st string. You can try out all 3 options for picking this pattern and see what you like best. Now here's how this pattern sounds at a slightly faster tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now at an even faster tempo of 94 beats per minute, which we'll use in the play along. Now for an added challenge, and to make this pattern sound even more like the original Kansas recording, we can add one more note to this pattern, picking the 2nd string on the final and. So here's how this would look. And at a faster tempo. If you're looking for something more advanced, then this definitely adds some difficulty to the pattern. And it also makes the chord changes more challenging because we have less time at the end of the pattern for chord transitions. If you're playing with high G tuning, then here's how the Travis picking pattern will sound at a slow tempo, still on a C chord. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and at a faster tempo, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Did you know that all of my song sheets, tab arrangements, and songbooks are available on Patreon? The link is down below in the video description. Now that you've learned our Travis picking pattern, let's look at how to apply it to the verses and the chorus, as well as how to form our chord shapes and transition between chords. To apply our Travis picking pattern to the verses and the chorus, we're going to play our pattern one time on each chord. So let's walk through these chord transitions. Starting with verse 1, in line 1 we begin on a C chord. So here I have my ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 1st string, but you can also use your pinky. Sometimes I use one or the other depending on what chord I'm transitioning from or moving to. So we'll play one pattern on C, and then we'll go to a G chord. Now to form our G chord, we have our index and middle fingers on the 2nd fret of strings 3 and 1, and our ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. So we'll play one pattern on G, and then we go to A minor. So for A minor, we're going to move our index finger to the 2nd fret of the 4th string, lifting up our middle and ring fingers. Now we'll play two patterns on A minor. In line 2, we'll go back to our G chord for one pattern, and then we go to D minor 7. For D minor 7, we'll place our index finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, our middle and ring fingers on the 2nd fret of strings 4 and 3, and our pinky on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. Now if you find this chord shape to be a bit too challenging, then you can lift up your pinky, forming just a standard D minor chord, which makes it a little bit easier. So we'll play one pattern on D minor 7, and then we go back to A minor. Now we already have our middle finger in place on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, so we'll leave it there, lifting up our other 3 fingers to play two patterns on A minor. Now let's look at the complete chord progression in lines 1 and 2, counting out the rhythm at a slow tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lines 3 and 4 of the verses are played the exact same way as lines 1 and 2. Now let's take a look at the chord progression used in the chorus. We finish the verse on an A minor chord with our middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. Now when we begin the chorus, we're starting on a D chord, so we're going to leave our middle finger in place and place down our ring finger and pinky on the 2nd fret of strings 3 and 2. We'll play one pattern on D, and then one pattern on G, and next we have two patterns on A minor. And here you can either play A minor with your index finger, and when we get to the D chord in line 2, we'll place down our middle and ring fingers on the 2nd fret of strings 3 and 2. Or if you'd like, you can play A minor in line 1 with your middle finger, and then form the D chord shape the same way we did at the beginning of line 1, using our ring finger and pinky. In line 2, after our D chord, we have another G chord, and then two patterns on A minor to finish the chorus. Now let's look at the full chord progression for our 2-line chorus, counting out the rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, chorus, all of the sections that contain lyrics. So next we'll take a look at the instrumental sections, the song introduction, the interlude after the second chorus, and the outro to end the song. For these sections, we'll use a different pattern, pattern 2, which is easier to play, and we'll also use different chord shapes. This second pattern only uses strings 1, 2, and 3. So it doesn't matter if you have high or low G tuning, it will sound exactly the same as we're not using our 4th string. Here's the pattern at a slow tempo on a C chord. This pattern also covers 4 beats, and the rhythm is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and at a faster tempo 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. To pick this pattern, I like to use my thumb on the 3rd string, index finger on the 2nd string, and middle finger on the 1st string. So we'll start by picking the 1st string, then the 3rd string, 2nd string, and we'll finish on the 1st string. To apply this pattern to the instrumental sections of the song, we'll play the pattern 1 time on each chord. So let's start by looking at our song introduction. We use 6 chords in this section, and the first 3 are quite easy. We begin on our C chord. Here I'm using my middle finger to play C, and then we go down to the 2nd fret for C major 7 using our index finger. Then we go up to the 5th fret using our pinky. This is a C add 9 chord, and then we go back to our standard C chord to finish line 1. Moving into line 2, our chords become more challenging. We start with an A sus2 chord. Now for all 4 chords in line 2, we're going to keep our middle and ring fingers in place on the 4th fret of the 3rd string and 5th fret of the 2nd string. For A sus2, we have our index finger on the 2nd fret of the 1st string. Then moving to A sus4, we'll place down our pinky on the 5th fret of the 1st string, lifting up our index finger. Then we move to an A minor chord. This is a different version than the A minor that we played in our verses and chorus. So here we'll place down our index finger on the 3rd fret of the 1st string, lifting up our pinky. And then we end line 2 on an A sus2 chord, moving our index finger back to the 2nd fret of the 1st string. Now let's count out the rhythm of lines 1 and 2 at a slow tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. For lines 3 and 4 of our introduction, we'll continue using these same chords but in a different order. So we begin line 3 on C add 9, then we go down to C, then C major 7, and then back to C add 9. Then in line 4, we go to our A minor chord, then A sus2, A sus4, and we finish on our A minor chord. And here you can either play the pattern, or I like to pick all 3 strings together. This helps to give a musical pause between the introduction and verse 1. The interlude after the second chorus is played the exact same way as the song introduction. And I want to highlight in line 2 of our second chorus, we're going to play our Travis picking pattern 4 times rather than twice on A minor. From here, we'll move into our second pattern on our C chord to begin the interlude. Now when we get to the outro at the end of the song, this section is shorter. It's only 2 lines, and we're not using any of the C chords. So here we begin on A minor, then we go to A sus2, A sus4, then A minor. Then in line 2, we go down to A sus2, A sus4, A minor, and here we're beginning to slow down the tempo as we move into A sus2. Then for the final chord, our A minor chord, I like to pick all 3 strings. The last section that I want to highlight is the final chorus and how to move into our outro. Our final chorus is 4 lines long instead of 2. And in line 4, we begin with 1 Travis picking pattern on D, then 1 pattern on G, and from here we're going to move right into our outro, playing our second pattern on our A minor chord that begins on the 3rd fret. So here's how we count the rhythm of these 3 chords at a slow tempo, transitioning from the chorus into the outro. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next, we're moving into our play along, where you can play and sing the entire song along with me. I'm going to use our Travis picking pattern on the verses and the chorus, and pattern 2 on the instrumental sections, just as we've covered in this lesson. 5, 6, 7, 8. I close my eyes only for a moment, and the moment's gone. All my dreams pass before my eyes, a curiosity, dust in the wind. All they are is dust in the wind. Same old song, just a drop of water in an endless sea. All we do crumbles to the ground, though we refuse to see. Dust in the wind. All we are is dust in the wind. hope you have fun learning Dust in the Wind, practicing your Travis picking, and playing along with me. Thanks for watching.